Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Welcome to Slamfire Radio, episode 609, recording live on June 11th, 2025. I'm your host, Cowtown Tony.
Oh, I think I'm supposed to go next, right? I'm Kelly.
Actually, I think it's Adriel.
I'm Adriel.
I'm Kyle.
I'm writing down the time.
Oh, I'm Kelly. I'm lost.
I saw already write down the time. That's okay, though. We're going to start with what we did in guns. Let's go with Kelly first. Kelly hasn't been on for a while, I don't think.
I haven't been on forever and a day. It's because I've been sick and I also been in Alaska. So I haven't done a lot in guns other than I am going to be helping out this weekend at a Maple Seed event. And that's going to be in Brockville. And then I've also signed up to help with orientation for new members at FRPC. And what else have I done? Not much. That's about it.
Did you not do National Range Day?
No, I did not do a National Range Day.
Aw.
No, I know. I wasn't able to do it this year. I'll be doing it next year. I had a family obligation that I had to attend. So, yeah. Anyways. All right. What did you do, Adriel?
A couple things. This last weekend, I did a private pal and a maple seed. The private pal went well, and the maple seed was good too. It was at Rocky. That's the first time we've done a maple seed out there, and I pressed my oldest son into service as a helper instructor, which went pretty good. He's awesome. He's pretty deep into cadets, so he got onto the get your elbow under and hold the trigger back and all those common things that we've got to do as Maple Seed instructors.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's also attended Maple Seed as well.
Yeah, he's been to a few. Yeah,
a couple, just one or two.
Yeah, one or two.
He could probably teach it himself.
I got him to do the bubble, and he did it pitch perfect. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So that was last weekend. I went to Cabela's, so for the Father's Day weekend there, they had their gift cards on for 10% off. So I went and bought a few, and while I was there, I'm like, you know what? I should go take a look in their used gun area, and they had a couple of guns that were
priced well.
I couldn't refuse the deals, so I might have purchased a couple of guns. They had a Savage Stevens 200 in 2G3, and that was for $260.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they had I'm not going to show them because we're on YouTube here, but a 7mm Rim Mag 111 Chieftain, which is like a nicer finish, kind of like a blued finish and whatnot, for $360.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
That's pretty good prices.
Well, I'm going to use that Chieftain for a bolt action PAL gun. I think the other one, one of my buddies is already like, hey, you want that? I'm like, you can have it. I had to buy it because it was a good deal, but I'm willing to sell it to a buddy of mine. But the Chieftain will be great for like a PAL rifle. It's got a detachable mag. It feeds nicely from the top. It's a modern gun. It's got an easy use safety. Those are all good things for a PAL rifle.
Red mag though. Whoa. Well, I guess you're not shooting it.
No one's shooting it. Yeah, they're just loading the cartridges in. The cartridges are nice and big and chunky, and they load really nicely.
Have a belt on it. Do they understand how that works?
They don't need to. It'll work. It'll just work. Don't worry about it. Whereas I have a P14. You can rim lock it. If you have that top gun in front of the round underneath, it rim locks 100% of the time. Whereas the 303 Savage. The Savage 99s, they don't care. They don't care about rim lock. They deal without it. And this thing, even with the belt, it's not going to matter. So that's I think that'll be nicer for people to use, which I'm looking forward to. Speaking of, I'm gonna have this weekend here. I'm gonna do a range visit on a Friday, and then Our Pal Saturday, Sunday. So I'll be camping at the range again. This has been 4 weekends in a row.
Are you even gonna pull the set down? I don't know about the 21st, 22nd, but on the 28th, you're back out there again.
I'll be out there until July, but not there specifically. I'll be at a range somewhere until late July. I think is the first time I've got a gap right now on the calendar. July 26th, 27th is my next gap for a non-shooting, non-range weekend.
Good for you.
It's not going to stay a gap. I know.
No, it's not.
Someone's going to go in there.
You're
Like,
going to
hey,
fill it.
Pal? Yeah. No,
Sure, why not?
Yeah. Or something like that, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So that range visit, I'm probably going to fire some of these guns just to shoot them once before I disable them. And I'm also working on, I was talking to some buddies of mine. They're like, why don't you just do this PAL thing for permanent? And I'm like, I don't like the risk around the government, changing things. And
Yeah.
it is too high. And so I don't really want to, but I was thinking more about it. Like, well, I'd need more courses. I'd need more courses that people can do other than just PAL or PAL.
Mhm.
So one of the ones I was thinking about was like I had some students ask me about this a gun cleaning class. They're like, how can I get my gun cleaned? I'm like, I don't really want to clean guns. And you can take it to a gunsmith, but it's going to be like $100. I don't even know, because I wouldn't even dream of it, but like $100.
$50, $100, yeah.
Yeah, probably like
Sounds like
$100 if you take it to a gunsmith. So I was thinking, what if instead of that, what if I offered a class, like a 2-hour class? You pay me $100. I'll show you how to fish. I'll show you how to clean your gun. And then you can clean that gun, and you can clean the other, and you can clean other guns. So I've started to put together a course curriculum on that.
Cool.
I don't know if it'll be popular or not, but the way I'm figuring, like $100, and you'll get a free little can of Ballistol and some other little knickknacks, like a toothbrush, and I'm not gonna do a rod or anything like that, like a rod kit or a pull through kit. They can buy that on their own. But yeah, maybe a couple little things, and bring your gun. And at the start of the class, I clear all guns, no ammo's there, and we clean some guns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good idea. I like it.
Maybe on a different day when we've got a little bit more time, I'll rip through the deck, and you guys can give me some pointers on what you think is missing from it.
That is interesting thing, because when I first got my first shotgun, not included here, I guess, but it was an interesting question, such a basic thing of firearm ownership, but the firearm safety program never said anything about it. They said you should have a rod, but they never said.
They talk about
you should
they talk about lubricating it, but that's it. It's not specific. It
didn't tell you
enough to do it.
Should I lubricate the magazine? Should I where do I put oil on everything, or
Yes.
how much
Drown
is just drown it? Into the bucket goes. So I don't think I hurt my pump shotgun by not disassembling it for the first time before I shot it, but in hindsight nowadays, I'm gonna take it apart because storage lubrication isn't really good lubrication. So there are some things to think about it.
I found a firearms cleaning class course, like a deck on the internet. I'm going to share it with you guys. I don't want to show it because I don't want to name and shame, but it's horrible. It is absolutely I was like, oh, great, a slide deck. Well, I'll just take a look and copy some good ideas and add my own in. But it's about half FUD lore, like really bad FUD lore.
Oh.
I'll share it with you guys. It's terrible stuff like. If you leave the factory oil in your gun, you could cause the barrel to burst. You'll get overpressure. If you get copper buildup, you're going to start seeing overpressure in your cases, in your cartridge cases. What?
Wow.
What? How many?
It's unlikely.
Yeah. Unlikely. There's like a whole slide on barrel break-in. It's like, God, come on.
Oh, that too.
Come on.
Guessing my first gun was a smooth bore. I didn't have to break that in. It was smooth.
Yeah, But hey, a smoothbore is a great one. Hey, there's all this plastic in there. Let's grab my drill. Let's grab this rod and let's get after it and get that plastic out of there, right? Like there's a, if you follow the rules, it's like, oh, well, you just push it through and then you unscrew the brush and you take it back to the start. You screw the brush back in and you push it through the barrel just one way. Fuck that. No. For a shotgun barrel, no. We're going to put it on a drill. We're going to drill that stuff and we're going to get that plastic out of there and that lead out of there. Anyways, so I'm just thinking about that and trying to put that together. I don't know how popular it's going to be, but it'd be something fun and just another thing that we can, do to help people who are just starting out. Kyle? Did you go yet?
No, I haven't gone yet. I did construction. So I finally plugged the back of the bench. So
I see a pistol up there.
yes, there is an AR pistol up there.
Stop bragging.
Oh, there's multiple ARs on there, just saying.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Stop bragging.
I have an AR SBR. We're just over here. Haha.
So yeah, that's
Give me a thing.
pretty much it. That was Saturday. We were sitting here and Gage helped me build that. And after last week we were talking like I should really see how much that's going to cost and just do it. And so yeah, got that done. So now I start doing some more organization and I'm going to start getting to the range because I need to end the drought. And I have nationals coming up.
Shot?
So. It has been a while since I've shot. So I think last time I really shot, that was Texas. So
Been a while.
yeah. So I need to get stuff ready and get to the range. But that's basically it. Oh, if you're interested, I did 3D print those mag hangers. So I'll post up some stuff in the Discord and whatnot. And actually the rifle hangers too. I've 3D printed those. So
To go into the pegboard there?
yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. So like that's 3D printed. So like two different styles. And then, they're basically the mag holders. Those are 3D printed too. And they just clip into the pegboard and I didn't even have to use 100% fill on the rifle hangers.
Cool.
So,
yeah.
But I'll post files in Discord here at some point.
In the 3D printing section.
Yeah. Awesome.
It's awesome.
So, I think that's everyone, isn't it?
Yeah.
I haven't gone.
Oh,
Tony's going.
I just have like two things to say. Went to National Range Day, pretty good weather before all the smoke rolled into Calgary, and now you can't see.
Now everything's on fire.
Yeah, you can't see 2 miles in front of you. It's really, really bad. I guess I don't shoot long range sports, so it's okay. Well, I finally sent my Savage out for warranty work. They were kind enough to send me a UPS label, so carrying a big box, all papered up so no one can see what's inside, bolts out, safe storage condition. Just carrying a very awkward big box into the Walmart because that's where the UPS is, and no one said anything, so
No,
it's all good. I guess my only long range gun is gone too, so the weather won't impact me at all.
Yeah.
Everything's great. Yeah. Unfortunately, we had a match cancellation for our shotgun match this weekend, so I don't think I'll get to practice more shotgun shooting before the Rimfire Madness, but I should probably do some more loading. It's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like you had a pretty good week.
Not too
Yeah.
bad.
Okay.
All right, let's go to upcoming events. Maple Seeds. 30 days worth, please.
sure, why not? June. Hey, Rocky, that one's done. Brockville's coming up. I imagine Kelly's going to be at that one, right?
I am.
That. Yep.
Yep. And there's still spots available on the line if people want to go. And,
Really?
Yeah.
Stittsville is the weekend after that. That'll be a double header.
Yes, it is.
Is it Havelock or Havelock?
Havelock, and it's in New Brunswick, people. It's not in Ontario.
Close enough. Close enough.
And the same day, I'm going to be in a different area. So I will be in
Blue
Blue
Ridge.
Mountain, Blue
Yep.
Ridge Sportsman's Club, which
Yep.
is in Blue Mountain. So I'll be there at that one.
Weekend after that, I'll be in Vermilion, and someone will be in Sackville. Will you be in Sackville? You won't be in Sackville.
No, Sackville is also in New Brunswick.
Mhm.
So.
And
no,
Kamloops,
Sackville, New Brunswick.
Kamloops, yeah, Sackville's in New Brunswick, and then Kamloops will be that weekend as well in BC. So we'll have Alberta, New Brunswick, and BC all in that weekend there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then weekend after that, Tabor, Lower Trent, Bonnyville, and North Peace Rod and Gun Club.
Yep.
All that weekend. Oh no, wait, North Peace is a couple weekends afterwards. Anywho, that's Maple Seed.
That's the next couple of weeks.
What about HG Farm training?
My PAL this weekend sold out. The RPAL still has a couple spots available. There are some signups for it. I'm doing a July 6th one in Devon with Colin. That one's got spots available. And the weekend after that, I've got in Bonnyville. Hey, look, PAL and Maple Seed, both in Bonnyville, both in the same weekend. Huh.
How'd that happen?
Almost
Almost like it was planned.
Yeah.
Are you seeing, because the new government, a dip in RPAL registration, or is it still kind of samey?
I mean, it was less before as well. I'm actually, quite frankly, surprised that I'm getting anyone coming to them right now. So some of the people have really good excuses. They're like, yeah, my dad has a bunch of handguns and I want to borrow them. Great. And you get your RPAL, borrow all that kind of stuff. Some people are doing it in prep, just in case. And then some people, I had a couple people for like work. They want to be a Brinks truck driver or something like that. So yeah, there's a variety of reasons to still get one.
Cool. 3gun.ca. We have we've talked about the Rimfire Madness a lot of times. On the 28th, is spots still available? I think so.
Yes.
Okay, June 28th. That is at Sherwood Park. July, there's the Chaz 3-gun match on the 12th, and Sherwood Park multi-gun on the 26th of July. Cool. Let's go to the news. The first one, if Adriel doesn't mind sharing his screen, I guess the X screen share will be the most beneficial here. From the CCFR, from the House of Commons, the amount, I call it the amount of cluelessness. Our new public safety minister, Gary, who doesn't really understand the whole legal gun ownership thing. He doesn't know
anything about gun licenses.
Yeah, he doesn't know what an RPAL is. He doesn't have an RPAL, obviously. He doesn't know what the CFSC, the Canadian Firearm Safety Course, is. And when asked, he replied, and I quote, "This is not about law-abiding gun owners, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Bill 21, it should be C21, but anyway, Bill 21 is meant to get serious dangerous weapons off our streets." And my comment on that is they're trying to buy back, confiscate, whatever you want to call it, was legal guns from law-abiding gun owners back. Only, correct. And
the only people that are affected by it are legal gun owners.
And somehow Bill C-21 is not about law-abiding gun owners. So, like, in their mind, we're already criminals. I don't know how else I'm going to interpret it.
So I'm going to say this. I'm not allowed to have an opinion about because I work for
no opinion.
So, but the reality is there's just a recent cabinet shuffle, and even those that have been in previously, and those different cabinet portfolios have a failure to understand the actual portfolio. So this is apparent in this, and I don't know the CCFR posted it, and it's been shared widely as well. But I do think that after what happened, he'll figure he will do a little bit of research, but it's still not going to have an impact on us.
I doubt it,
C21
Kelly.
is-
I doubt it.
C21's there, the OICs are there, and we know what's happening. So
He doesn't require to know any of that stuff. Anyway.
And to quote his last
and he doesn't.
exchange in this exchange, when asked if he would commit to taking the Canadian firearm safety
He's not
course,
going to.
he said, "I do not intend to purchase a firearm or use a firearm," which is the most politician answer I can get out of it, because you can take the safety course and not buy a gun. You can take the safety course and not register for a PAL. Like, the amount of cluelessness, I'm just going to put it there before I explode. On more positive news, I guess, the already anticipated Alberta hunting regs changes have been committed, so to speak, are coming into law when the Alberta Guide of Hunting Regulation publication is updated every July. But a few things includes a lower big game hunting age. I think it's 10 now. A few clarifications on certain things, like a wheelchair is not a motor vehicle, which is a little silly, but I guess it helps law enforcement agencies as well. You can shoot your 22 centerfire rifles for big game hunting now. For example, 223, unfortunate timing, but 223. 22 250, for example, 22 Creedmoor, things like that. Rimfire still no-go for obvious reasons. You can use tracking dogs.
Smaller than 22 centerfires.
Yeah, so your 204 Rugers and 17 Fireballs are still outlawed, but I don't think there's too many people out there trying to do that anyway. You can use a tracking dog to recover wounded game after you made the shot. And,
I didn't even know that was illegal.
Yeah.
I would have assumed that, if you shoot a deer and you go back to the house and grab a dog to help you find the dog, that would have been fine. But I guess I didn't know the rules.
From my understanding, you couldn't
I know they
use
clarified
it.
that.
I know, but
I don't know if it was explicit or not.
I think to me, my read on it, on the old version when I was educated, was just big game hunting equals no dog. So just don't just don't have the dog there. What else? You can now discard the fur of cougars and bears if you're intending to take the meat. So now it's kind of a choose one. You can discard one of also you can choose to use the whole thing, which is probably the best way to do it. But you can discard one or another nowadays. There's a few
That's
changes
nice,
I'll
because
post.
if you got the fur and if you got like a real ratty fur, and you were really after the bear for the bear fat, for example, I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend a bunch of money or spend a bunch of time trying to make a ratty fur viable and do something with it.
Spend all that money to get it tanned, and it's not worth anything.
No, you can always. There's places that will take hide donations, though, if you do want to do it. But anyways, if anybody is doing spring bear, which is a little late now,
it might be a little late, but you can plan for your fall bear now.
I will always take any of the bear fat.
And there's some clarification on, for example, what is the edible portion of a big game that you have to recover. It includes the forequarters, the loins, and the neck, which is a little surprising to me, but I guess.
Oh, lots of meat on the neck.
How much of the neck, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's not clarified enough. We should write our provincial representatives. And apparently, I wasn't educated on this. I took my hunters at 2 years ago, a year before I started hunting. I did not realize there was a requirement for high-vis clothing, and apparently, in practice, it wasn't required, but legally it was in Alberta. But the provision has now been formally repealed, so you can do whatever
Maybe
you want.
Put that forward, because that hasn't been a thing in Alberta.
So I thought the same thing, Kyle, but it was on the regs.
Was it really?
No one did it. I don't know. It wasn't. Yeah. I didn't even know.
I need to search for it.
And yeah, Fish Cops didn't enforce it, so they must have not known either.
Nope. No one knew.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll have the article that is, was it
right.
MyWell Alberta, which is the official site
It's
on our
Alberta,
Discord as
not
well.
the rest
Yeah.
of the country.
Fair.
Right.
And there's the CBC article that no rifles that's been confiscated or bought back has made it into Ukraine yet, as expected. Shocking, I know. I think Zelensky was hoping they would be getting javelins because those are banned too, but doesn't appear to be. So,
No GSGs for him. I don't know what they're gonna
Yeah.
do.
Like I said, when they gave him the
Sad.
list and asked him if there was anything available on that list that would interest them, I'm sure it was all the javelins and everything. He's like, yeah,
anti-tank,
yeah, those.
50 cals, all the things. Yeah, right.
yeah, all the stuff that isn't in public hands.
Okay.
But anyway, let's go to new gun stuff. Adriel, can you share your screen for this, please?
Sure. One second.
There's two things. So I'm going to talk about the Trigger Tech trigger first. They teased it. They released it in SHOT Show this year, I believe. I think they teased it like a long time ago. But yeah, they have this new trigger tag trigger system for Glocks. I believe Gen 1 to Gen 5 compatible, but it's quite different from most aftermarket trigger systems. It, like, have a backplate with an ejector on it, I believe. And yeah, it's quite a different geometry. I'm going to slightly diss the shooter in the video. I don't think he is very good. The first thing he did was trying to reach into the trigger when picking up the gun. So I'm going to criticize the video on that, but it does appear to be a very interesting, different design. We'll
Cool.
see when that gets released. And it does not, I believe it does not have a trigger blade because the safety is completely different. The second thing is from Bullseye North. They have a special running on the Benelli Leupold bolt-action rifle, specifically for the 6.5 PRC caliber. $1,060. Very good deal, down from $1,850, I believe. And
Wow.
made in Italy, if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Yeah, Benelli should be the Lupo. I think it is. Yeah.
awesome.
Neat.
Let's go to our main topic.
So we're going to get into the main topic. Tonight we're going to be talking to Team Canada. Say hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Everybody.
So Team Canada for the IPSC Worlds, they were shooting the PCC division. So who we have with us tonight is Melody. You might remember Melody. She's been on the show before, and she's been on the show with her partner, now fiance, by the way, Taylor. Taylor's been on the show. We were talking about it last night. I think he's been on more than anybody else who's ever been on the show before. People who are familiar with Slamfire may also be familiar with Wes Stevens as well. And for the first time ever, Everett.
That is not true.
He's on before.
He's been here before for 3-gun shows.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, he was on with me before I was a host.
Oh, you know what? Everett's been on the show before. I apologize, Everett. I thought you were a Slamfire first timer.
Nope.
No,
This is
I must not have
many
been on
years
that.
ago.
I must not have been on that show, or was I?
No, you
don't
weren't on
remember.
that one.
Yeah. See, bad memory. I'm old. So
Me
why don't we
too.
get into it a little bit instead of doing a long drawn out bios, which are still okay, but let's get everybody to tell. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like where you're located? Yeah. So Everett, you've been on the show before. Why don't you just give people a little bit of a background where you're located currently right now?
All right. I'm located in Medicine Hat, Alberta. Been here for over 30 years. Family electrical business here. Also used to be an executive at our local club, Medicine Hat Rifle and Revolver Club. Yeah, I travel southern Alberta to visit Taylor and Mel quite a bit, and maybe every other year to see Wesley. But
Awesome. Okay. So, Wes, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where you're currently located?
I'm out of Regina, Saskatchewan, born and raised. Been shooting IPSC since 2015. Started running my local club here out of the Regina Wildlife Federation. So became an RO, black badge instructor, and in my free time, I just practice and try and get more people into the sport as much as I can.
Yeah, thank you for that. And also, Melody, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Where are you located or currently right now?
So I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I started shooting IPSC in 2022 when I got my gun license. And handgun has been my main focus. I started shooting PCC last year, and I was fortunate enough to go to the World Shoot this year. Now switching back, focusing into handgun to get ready for the handgun World Shoot in South Africa.
Yeah, that's going to be, it's just right around the corner, isn't it? 3 months?
It is 3 months away.
Yeah. Incredible. The fact that you took up PCC in 2024, you qualified for the nationals, and then you went and shot, and then you're now representing Canada at the Worlds. It's amazing. Good for you. Taylor, why don't you tell everybody about you, where you're located? Tell us a little bit about your background in shooting as well.
Okay, I'm also Calgary, born and raised. I started shooting, well, I got my gun license in 2013, didn't really do anything with it until 2016. Started shooting local 3-gun stuff, then started shooting province-wide 3-gun stuff. That kind of became my passion until the end of 2019. Everything was kind of, doing really good in the 3-gun world. Then that's when I met Wes, that's when I met Everett, that's when I met Justin, even though I didn't know it yet. And then I got my black badge in 2019 so I could shoot the shotgun nationals.
Yeah.
From there, I switched focus over at IPSC because our rifles were gone, and have just been in IPSC ever since. I've been competing in a lot of IPSC handgun matches. That's my primary focus. Then when PCC became a thing, I started doing that on the side. And I became a IPSC RO. I'm now an IPSC CRO. I'm a match director at Buffalo Target Shooters Association for our IPSC stuff. I've done stuff for rifle. I've done stuff for shotgun, done 3-gun. Right now it's just IPSC handgun. Yeah. And like Melody, we're heading to the IPSC handgun World Shoot in South Africa in September. So that's kind of our primary focus now.
Yeah, and it's really cool. This is the first and only year that there's been 2 IPSC Worlds that are taking place. And we're going to get into that just in a little bit too. For those people who are not regular Slamfire listeners, who would like to tell us what IPSC is? Because if you have been listening for years, you would have been regaled by Trevor and his IPSC tales. So
who's most qualified?
Sure. IPSC is practical shooting, so it's International Practical Shooting Confederation. It's the sport of practical shooting, and practical shooting is a competitive shooting sport where you are solving a course of fire, an obstacle course with a number of different targets out there, and you're timed. So depending on your score with your points on the target, that's divided by your time, and you get a hit factor. So you navigate a course of fire. It's a dynamic shooting discipline, which means you're running around, you're shooting in different positions, kneeling, standing, leaning, you're shooting strong hand, you're shooting weak hand, you're having to reload quickly, you're having to draw quickly. That in a nutshell is IPSC, IPSC.
Yeah, it's lots of fun. It's dynamic, meaning you're running and gunning essentially. And it is shot all over the world. So that's why we have the Worlds. Who wants to talk about the different disciplines? Wes, what about you? You want to talk about it?
Yeah. So, I think there's way more than just the 4, but the big 4 would be handgun, shotgun, rifle, and PCC now. It all started with pistol, and I believe in somewhere around 2014, they started adding rifle, shotgun, and now PCC. PCC being the newest one, they squeaked it in this year with the same year as the handgun world shoot, mainly because of COVID. We just had to squeak it in, and they're all run essentially the same thing. It's all points divided by time. Highest hit factor wins, and you're essentially just running obstacle courses with guns and trying to accumulate the most amount of points in the least amount of time.
Yeah. So one of the things that we've talked about is that PCC was supposed to be introduced prior to this year at the Worlds. And it was because of the thing that shall not be named that it was postponed. And now it was run this year. And again, so there's two Worlds that are taking place. The other thing that took place, I think there was mini rifle going as well as PCC, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. We didn't have. I know I was surprised we didn't have any Canadians, I think, represented in the mini rifle match. But that is one of the long gun disciplines that Canadians could still get into at this point.
So it might be something that we can focus on going forward with the current legislation. Maybe. Let's see.
For now, there's still a handful left. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you have been sleeping under a rock and you haven't really had the opportunity, or let's say you're just new to shooting as well. Everett, do you want to talk about what a PCC is?
So it's a pistol caliber carbine.
Carbine.
Carbine. It's been a long day.
It's a French word. It's carbine.
Carbine. The most standard caliber that it's shot with is 9mm, but you can shoot it 40, 45, etc. Besides that, it is, how would you say it? Sorry. Most PCCs are based off the AR platform. There is other competitive options, but not as competitive as the AR9 version. Besides that, our versions that we were using was a pin and welded 14-inch barrel with a 2-inch comp.
Yeah.
But back home we're using the 18-inch non-restricteds. But to be more competitive, we converted them all to 10.5s. But so they're very, for me, they're very. If you like tinkering, you can tune them up exactly how you want them.
Yeah,
which is an amazing thing. It's literally like building a drag car for yourself, which I enjoyed mostly. But besides that,
so PCCs are something that 9mm, most of them are non-restricted. However, there's been some legislation lately about all of this, and we'll get into that too. So Melody, I'm going to go to you because let's talk about the Worlds. Where was it? Where were you staying as well? Because I learned a little secret yesterday when we were talking about it. So where were the Worlds at?
Yeah, the World Shoot this year was in Czech Republic. So we flew into Prague and we drove to Znojmo, which was the town that was hosting the Worlds match. We actually stayed just over the Austrian border, like 50 yards into the Austrian border, which was gorgeous. Like the drive between the range and the hotel that we were staying at was unreal. But the Czech was gorgeous. It was the opening ceremony was unbelievable. Like just to see the scale of the sport, like as an international sport, just seeing there was over 55 countries, over 1,000 competitors. Just seeing everyone lined up for the parade and just country after country being announced. It was like our own form of the Olympics, which was really incredible to see.
Yeah. incredible to see that many people, all, I know we say it, like-minded people, but people who are participating, people who are sharing, people that are willing to support each other. And pretty incredible, eh? Yeah.
Athletes.
Yeah. So, you did stay over on the on the Austrian side of things. I think it might have been a little bit nice. You got to stay in 2 countries, or got to visit 2 countries. So maybe it was a bonus. I heard the beer was pretty good too. Yeah. So overall, Canada. How'd you guys qualify? How did we qualify?
Like, how did we make the team?
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about the process.
So we had 2 past PCC nationals, one in 2023 in Halifax, and the next one was 2024 in Kamloops, BC. All of us obviously attended. Typically, we make teams for the divisions. For the handguns, it's your best 2 out of the last 3 nationals. That being because World Shoots were typically every 3 years. So we only had the 2, but there was enough to get an average. And so Taylor obviously got the top spot, and Justin was high up on the list as well, then myself, and then Everett also got in. So that was the official Team Canada. And that's how it came to be.
Yeah.
We were supposed to have did they pick a date for this year before the ban? I don't know. It was sad because my home club, we put in a bid. We wanted to do PCC Nationals, right? In Regina. And it all kind of just fell apart, but it was gaining momentum. It wasn't as big as handgun, right? Handgun, we have, I don't know, between 300 and 500 shooters at nationals for handgun, but PCC was right around, I think in Kamloops, it was just over 100. So that's right what my club could accommodate. So
right. So with the C21 that came in, so the handgun ban, I and I think we can all agree that there was an increase in the interest for PCC from EPSC competing as well, competitions.
Competing.
You made a new word.
Thank you. I can't even talk. I'm competing. Jesus, competing. Because you couldn't buy handguns anymore. So let's get into something different. And everybody was starting to turn to PCC. A few years ago, people were going, "Yeah, I'll stick with the handguns." That's from my perspective. But I think that everybody can agree, correct? And then once the C21 came in, there was a switch and people started to become interested in the PCC side of it. Is that what you guys started to see?
I'll give you a great example. Tony. Tony's a great example. Tony, you don't have a handgun, do you?
I do not. And Taylor was the person that inspired me into IPSC sports. But after OIC 2, which is equivalent to G46, the amendment that banned all the PCCs, now I have a full rack of guns that's not really IPSC competitive, so to speak.
Yep.
So
yeah, like Tony got a sub 2000 and an F or the Kodiak, right? The K9.
Yeah, I have a K9. Yep.
And he was all set up to shoot IPSC, and then that got shut down on him.
Right.
Like he was a regular at our club shooting his PCCs, and now he's got nothing that he can use.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that did take place. Obviously, there's been some legislation that's happened recently, and we've been we've been vocal about it here on Slamfire and how it's affected our communities. But let's talk about how it affected you. So, prior to the Worlds, let's talk about how you were able to practice. What were you able to do?
So, that OIC came into effect early December, and we had planned to train hard from January until late April when we left. Obviously, there's snow on the ground. It's minus 30 in Calgary, so that was going to be hard anyway. But we had planned any time that it was remotely feasible to train, that we were going to train. And then our Raven that we shared got banned, and we thought, okay, we pretty much had to resign ourselves to the fact that we were going to this world shoot. We were going to shoot guns that we never shot before, ammo we had never shot before, and we were just doing it for fun, essentially. There was no way that we were going to be able to train properly. There's no way that we were going to be able to compete at the level that we knew we could. And I mean, partially that became the reality, but then there was one PCC left that became our training tool, and that was the Sterling R9. Sterling reached out to us, and they brought us onto the team, and they got us a pair of R9s so that we could train at our local club legally, right? And actually, get rounds downrange, get our movement practice in, get our, target acquisition, getting into position, target transition practice on, and that was invaluable. That's all that we were able to do was with that one PCC. There was no matches. All of the matches have been canceled. Nationals was canceled. We're not going to have any more nationals for PCC in the near future. So that was the reality for us, for all of us, leading up to the World Shoot.
Yeah, great. So you're talking about J.R. Cox. He contacted you. Incredible support for firearms owner here in Canada, but in particular, you two in Calgary. And without him and his support, you wouldn't have been able to do any shooting. I know Wes and Everett, it's a little different for you guys. Can you talk about what your preparation was like for the Worlds?
Wes, you want to go first, or?
Sure, it's a little abbreviated, but so I basically, after the last PCC Nationals we had, and after the team standings came out and I made the team, I was super excited, right? So I was shooting an 18-inch FX9 non-restricted, and it was great. I really had no complaints with it, but I figured, making a world team, representing the country, you really wanted to get the most out of your equipment. So I ordered this, and it's sitting behind me. It's a 10-inch FX9 from P3 in Alberta, and I ordered all the parts to trick it out, and I had all the intentions of training with it, but before all the parts arrived, it was banned. So my training consisted 100% of dry fire in the basement that you see around me, and that was it. Reading books and dry fire.
Wow. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for being able to pull that trigger, though, and the recoil and everything too with that, isn't there? Yeah,
there sure is. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Everett? What were
having your own gun, shooting your own gun too, rather than borrowing someone else's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everett, what about you?
For me, it was physical training, like getting into the gym, exercising, especially with my knee injury. So that was a priority to try and get healthy and whatnot. And then in February, Justin and I headed down to Florida to shoot the USA Extreme Open, where we borrowed some PCCs from Da Vinci so we could compete in the match. So that's how we made that connection. And besides that, just mentally trying to prepare with some dry firing and hoping for the best when we got there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Da Vinci. So here's what I know. I know that you guys had to rent some guns when you got to the Worlds, correct? And Da Vinci helped you out. Yeah.
It was heartbreaking, but I was glad. We had like a little group call not long after the ban, right? And we were all still 100% in. It was like, it doesn't matter what it takes. We're gonna go, right? Because this is gonna probably be one of the only times that Canada fields like an official team. I'm sure some might go on their own accord, but this is an official team. So Everett and Justin were nice enough to connect with Da Vinci, and I'd heard of Da Vinci before because I shot the extreme match the year before, and I was I was squatted with a bunch of UK shooters, and they were all shooting Da Vinci. So David from Da Vinci is well known for kind of arming foreign people for matches, and because it wasn't just Team Canada at this match, he had Pelican cases, and there was at least there was a handful of teams that were shooting all Da Vinci, and the guns ran flawless.
Yeah. So again, so it was David from Da Vinci, who is located down in the U.S., but he supplied the guns for Team Canada in the Czech Republic. Again, we were talking about it, and we felt he should be named an honorary Canadian to support Team Canada.
I'm sure he doesn't want to be.
Yeah, like we were trying to be honorary Americans.
Yeah.
That's probably, you're right. It's more
The land of the free arming all the less free countries. All those
Right?
cases of freedom for the rest of us that need it.
So Everett talked about Justin, and Justin Thompson is the person he's talking about. He was the other person that was on Team Canada. Excuse me, but he wasn't able to join us tonight. So give him a shout out, especially for helping making that connection with Da Vinci too. So talk about what you guys were shooting during the competition. So what did they outfit you with, and how was it? Mel, why don't you tell us all about it? We haven't heard from you.
Sure. Yeah. So Da Vinci brought us their DG9s, which it's our Ravens that we shoot here are very similar.
Yeah.
So it was kind of nice to move to something pretty familiar. It's still not as familiar as your gun, but that was probably the closest thing that we were going to get. And yeah, they ran flawlessly between the five of us, and how many thousands of rounds over 5 days and not one malfunction. So that was great.
Wow.
They were, it's a great piece of machinery.
Yeah. And they provide a lot of the parts and accessories and everything so that in case.
Da Vinci and
Corey Shield.
George. Corey Shield was there as well with springs for the roller delay system. George, their gunsmith, was there on site helping us with anything or any troubles we may have.
Love you, George.
Yeah, I want to add, like, those guns were flawless, even with brand new, out of the package, off-brand, like not Glock brand magazines. I'm always like a little leary about non-Glock magazines, but not an issue.
I told you they would be fine.
That is very odd. You're on the border of Austria, but you can't get Glock magazines?
Well, we had to get them here or in the U.S. to David, or take them with us ourselves.
It's not that we couldn't get them. It's just you may or may not be seeing them again, so you don't want to spend every time that you have.
So they provided the firearms, so Da Vinci did, but you brought your own optics, correct? Yeah. So talk about the optics that you had. So Mel and Taylor, I know that you're sponsored by Apex, so let's talk about what you brought with you.
Yeah. So we brought our Apex Fusions, running like a main optic and an offset. Apex also supplied us with a spare dot just in case one went down, and a weather shield. And I run the same optic on my handguns, and I love them. I think they're great.
Yeah, they are great. And funny enough, I think we're going to have Van on next week to talk about his or their optics as well. Wes, what did you run?
I had the old standby. It's been a standby in PCC World for years. The 510C from Holosun. Yep. And my offset dot was a Vortex Venom that I've had for years and years and years. Vortex is also a great company because I find their stuff just keeps on ticking. And for those that are new, because I always get asked, especially people that are new to the sport, why do you need two red dots on the thing? And it's for shooting around hard leans. When we're shooting around a hard offhand corner, It's really nice to roll the gun over rather than switch shoulders. But another thing, and it happened to me in the 2023 Nationals because it was raining the whole time. My main optic got, because it's an open emitter, it just got flooded with water, and it was the long range stage, and I had all of a sudden no dot. I just rolled the gun over and boom.
So the thing is, one is none, right?
Yeah.
Two is one.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen some people like lose their battery or just goes dead for some reason, and that's when they flip it over as well, and they just keep going. Yeah. It's nice.
Now, Wes, you're special, right? Or sorry, not Wes, Everett. You're special, right? What did you do?
Special, right?
So I run a Holosun 510 for my main optic, and then my offset is a 507 comp. But unlike the rest of the team, I run green dots because of my stigmatism.
Yeah.
So I don't like that little starburst.
Touch of the tism.
Yeah. It's a great recommendation. A lot of us have astigmatisms, right?
You find the green helps with that?
It does. It's more solid and crisp, where like a red dot, I'll have that main dot, and then all around it, I'll have like a bunch of mini red dots.
I'll have to try that because I got laser eye surgery, and I want to say it took 80 to 90% of my astigmatism, but I still got a touch of it. So I should look through a green one.
Yeah, look through one, because I had the same issue with like a astigmatism, and I got LASIK, and the green dot I didn't find was any better.
Okay. Maybe Everett is just special.
Always have been.
So these are brand new guns for you guys. You hadn't shot them before. How much time did you get as prep period, prior to the competition? Were you able to sight them in? Which I know you did, but do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Did we though?
You want to talk about it, Ev?
So the first day that we had access to the rifles, I think we spent probably close to an hour just trying to sight in the rifles. I had no problem. Wes had no problem. Justin, no problem. Mel needs to work on her marksmanship skills.
Oh my!
But yeah, we probably put a good 200-300 rounds downrange just sighted in our rifles. But
whoa! We had a practice bay. 200-300 rounds for a practice bay.
I said for sight in. For sight in.
Oh, like combined. Combined
to,
the five of us.
Long story short, there was actually some pretty good complications, and we can get into it. But I think we narrowed it down that it wasn't really the gun or the dots; it was the ammo. Yeah. So we were shooting this check ammo, and so we're all shooting identical guns, not the same gun, but identically set up, and the same ammo from the same cases. And I was 144 power factor. And for those that don't know, power factor is just your bullet velocity times the bullet weight, and it gets you a power factor. And we use it because you have to make a minimum power. So I was 144 being the highest, and Melody's was 134. So we were all over the map.
Yeah.
And they should have been pretty close.
Pretty close, yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that after talking to you a little bit, it wasn't the guns, it wasn't the optics. I think that there was some challenges with the ammunition is what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm.
So that your power factor was all over the place, but then accuracy was as well?
Yeah. So I've got a picture of the best group that I could possibly get out of mine with like a 25 meter distance was about 4 inches. And if you think about PCC World, so if you shoot PCC in a handgun match, you're typically not shooting over about 25 meters, right? But at Worlds, if you read the IPSC rulebook, they mandate a certain amount of targets at a distance between 51 and 100 meters. And we had a few stages where we had to shoot at 80-meter targets. And if you have 4 inches at 25,
You're
you
going to
multiply
have
that by 3, just over 3. And, you know, if you're not, like, you might as well just throw 5 at that target and you might get 2 on.
Yeah.
That's kind of the reality. And it bit us hard.
Wesley knows that.
Yeah, I got bit pretty hard. I shot what I thought was a pretty clean long range stage. So we had out to 80, right?
Mhm.
And I was braced right in the corner of these ports, like solid, slow shots. And they went to the 12 shots that I took at 80, air balls, all of them.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Really?
So I'm like, where are these going? And I just held center, but it's a full on IPSC target, white IPSC target. Like even if you're a couple inches high, couple inches low, it should have been on there. But yeah,
Someplace.
air balls.
Brutal.
Yeah, for example, Taylor and I both held the same position. I was top right Charlie, and Taylor was low left Delta.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it was all over for us on the long range there, but it was interesting.
And you're in Czech, and Sella and Bella should be accessible, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to mention the company that we were buying them from.
No,
but
no,
it was
no.
definitely a smaller local ammunition company.
It wasn't an S&B or a Gecko or, you know, any of the other big European manufacturers.
No.
So, it didn't work out for you for the ammunition. Do you want to talk? Do you want to talk about how Team Canada did? I'm proud of you, by the way. But how did we do? Let's talk.
I'm proud that we just went there and we did the thing. But yeah, like I believe we were out of 30 teams, we were 24th. So
okay. Not bad considering you're using somebody else's rifles and ammo that you've never used before. And
yeah, while kind of the same platform, it all adds up and it makes a difference.
Yeah,
different handguard, different grip, different stock. Like for me anyway, different trigger. Everything was kind of familiar, but not. It didn't feel like home, so to speak. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's a bit of a wake-up call, though, when you shoot against the best in the world.
Mm-hmm.
There was one stage, I think I actually posted it on the CCFR while we were at the match, and it was a really quick speed shoot where you had a couple targets dropping down. And when I shot that, I felt like I shot that to the very best of my ability. I was very happy with how I placed. Well, I was very happy with how I shot, and it was 85% of the overall winner.
Wow.
So it's a bit of a wake-up call when you shoot against the best in the world that, you know, what you think is very good might be average for a world champion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that post. That's 85%. There's a lot of meat on that bone. And that's just like the difference between those guys in the world. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's the difference between 3 Charlie and no Charlie on a 12-round stage.
One and you look at it because it's an all activator kind of sequence. The only way to do it faster is to hit the poppers multiple times so they fall faster. And so unless you really know the gun and know, like, are you going to risk it? Well, I mean, a lot of us are just like, I was just trying to stay alive on that stage. So
yeah.
Yeah. It was an intimidating 10 rounds, but it was an intimidating stage. I thought, like, a lot going on that one.
Yeah. So tell us about your most favorite part of the world. So what was your favorite stage? Maybe what was not your most favorite, and then we'll talk about a little bit about the Czech Republic too. So.
Well, least favorite was the one I FTE'd on. That was I haven't done that in many years. Mel was up the night before watching Instagram videos from a whole bunch of different shooters to get stage plans of every stage we were shooting the next day. Yeah. And I watched the video she sent me, or just was watching in bed over and over and over and over. And I thought, okay, I've got this down. And then when we actually got on the stage and we were walking it, you get 3 minutes at Worlds. You're not allowed on the stages. That's a little bit different than Western Canada, where if you show up the night before, you can walk the stages.
Yeah.
Or if you're there in the morning, you can walk the stages and you don't get in trouble. And I just got flustered. I don't know why I couldn't get a stage plan down, and then I ran by a target. So that was probably my least favorite. Yeah.
You didn't do your homework.
Yeah. My favorite was probably that speed shoot, because that was a lot of fun.
That was good.
I felt like I nailed that. I felt like I had a great stage plan. I executed it well, and yeah, I don't think I could have done better on that.
Awesome. What about you, Melody?
My favorite stage, that big one that Taylor was talking about. I was actually the first shooter for that one, but because I had a plan down and I probably watched 100 videos the night before, I feel like I did fairly well on it. But my favorite stage was probably, I think it was our second or third day at the other range. They were, I don't even know how to explain it, but I think it was our second day. Most of the stages we shot our second day, I really enjoyed.
You liked them, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, maybe. Do you think it was because you were more familiar with the gun itself and its shooting, and you felt a little more comfortable with that too?
I don't know, because I mean, the first day I felt pretty good too. Like I did take quite a few makeups because I wasn't sure where, like at some distance, where I'm hitting on the target, but I had decent hits day one and day two.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. The stages on day two I just found were fun. Like they were fun to shoot.
Okay.
There was a lot of moving, a lot of leaning, like walls, like running around. It was a bit of a memory stage, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
So they're a little more intricate. So this kind of adds a fun aspect to it. But yeah, I found those were pretty fun stages.
Awesome. Okay. What about you, Everett? What was your favorite and least favorite?
Ooh, I think my least favorite was probably the stage that Taylor hit 85% on.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think that was the stage that had the most mics. But no, I think my favorite stages were the 40 round stages. It was it felt more like you had to be on your points, hit your positions. And for me, it was more mine than a speed shoot.
Yeah.
Especially for me, that's where I was more comfortable, especially dealing with a knee where I couldn't run like a baby giraffe like somebody else on the team, but but overall, I think day 2 and 3, those stages I really hooked up on after day 1 of just getting used to the rifle and getting that subconscious, like, okay, this rifle's going to work. Just get to work and just focus on stages now.
Awesome. Wes, favorite, least favorite?
Start with least favorite, and it's probably kind of obvious. Is like I zeroed that long range stage, so after that I was a little bit more cautious, right? Like I was, and this is what you should not be doing as an IPSC shooter is when you shoot at a target and you're looking for your hits just to make sure they're on the target. I was doing that a lot on day 2, but I got over it, and then my favorite thing is, especially in the last 3 days when we're getting kind of used to these guns, it was like no magazine reloads or very few, right? And especially the bigger the stage, the more it is apparent, because you get more into what those PCCs are kind of can do and are made to do is shoot really fast. I always liked it because it's kind of like you can go open gun speed for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah. What about Czechoslovakia? So, or is it Czech Republic? It's Czech Republic is what it is. So, question: did you go to CZ?
We did.
We got in trouble.
Right? I think it was the first day. The first day we got there, we walked to the store.
Yes, it was.
And why'd you get in trouble?
Well,
Taylor?
some of us had cameras out because we were just in awe, and it was a strict no camera zone.
I had my GoPro out because I was trying to do a vlog of the whole experience, and 2 feet into walking in the CZ store, they said, "Turn that off."
Yeah.
No filming inside.
You guys are gun enthusiasts who are also tourists, and I think they probably recognize that. Other great things about the Czech Republic: food, beer. How was that?
Food.
Yes.
Beer.
Yes.
What was
Wine
water?
was cheaper than water. Yeah.
Especially outside Prague, like you go outside the touristy areas, and the price for beer and wine is just insanely cheap. You can walk around with a beer in your hand and just kind of take in the sights in the city, and it's really nice to be able to do that.
Yeah,
they've got the original Budweiser there.
Mm-hmm.
They
That's
can't
where
call
Budweiser,
American Budweiser. They got to call it Bud there.
Yeah.
So we had some original Budweiser, and it was good. It was a lot better than our Budweiser.
Yeah, American. Yeah.
And then we did find some bourbon.
You did.
Oh,
it's the most generic of generic bourbons.
It was bad. All
That's
right.
not bourbon country.
We went to the Hemingway bar and we had old fashions.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
We didn't get to go to that 900-year-old pub though. It was
Well,
a little busy. We went to it.
We just didn't get to
go in.
Yeah.
All right.
Not worth lining up for. We got some questions from some of the commenters here.
Yeah, let's get to that.
Yeah. How was your alertness after all the travel? Did you get bad jet lag, anything like that?
Depends who you ask.
Yeah.
So I had absolutely zero jet lag going there or coming back. Coming back, we got in at 9 p.m. and I went to work the next day and I was fine. This one, not so much.
Yeah, I didn't sleep on the way there. I didn't sleep the first few days. I also had to drive. So yeah, it was pretty rough. But I think the first day was probably one of my best shooting days.
The first day was your best. I think it was the first night. No, it was the second night and the fourth night that you didn't sleep at all.
Yeah. And then apparently that works for me, but
yeah. Well, you're up all night watching YouTube to plan your stages, is what right?
Doing my homework.
Yeah. Everett and Wes, jet lag affect you guys?
For myself, yes, but we planned ahead. So Justin and I would be there 4 days before the match. So we landed about mid-afternoon in Prague, got to the Airbnb, and then we were using melatonin religiously and trying to get in that cycle. And by the time everybody else was there, we were already accustomed to the time and no problem. But coming back, yeah, it hit me hard. It was uncomfortable.
Do you think it affected your shooting at all?
No. Yeah, like I said, we planned to be there, so we took that out of the equation completely.
Okay.
Like we were religiously up at 6 a.m. doing our regular scheduled things like breakfast, stretching, going to the range, and then when we're back, eat, bed by 10, 11. So we got into a pretty good routine.
Yep. So. Awesome. What about you, Wes? Were you affected at all?
So Justin, who's not here, he told us all about this app, right? And it's how to program yourself. You tell it when you're leaving, where you're going, and a few days prior to your departure, it gets you to start adjusting your bedtime. And if you want, you can augment it with melatonin. So I did that, and so you're going to bed at 6 in the evening a few nights before you leave. But I found by the time I got there, I felt totally fine. And you have to remember that when we got there, we had probably 2 days until we had to really do anything or be anywhere for the shoot, right? I believe the first day, and that was the only thing we did that day. The first day we did gun check, right? And then the day after that was the opening ceremonies.
Yeah.
And then the day after that, so we were there like a good 4 or 5 days before any shooting started. So I think we were all adjusted pretty good.
You were able to ease in. Yeah.
And it was pretty funny when I got to the Airbnb in Prague to meet up with everyone. There's Taylor passed out on the couch, like out like a light. And here, like Melody comes out from the corner. She looks like totally like the roughest time ever. It was pretty funny.
It was hard, like 12-hour travel time.
You guys got
30-hour travel time.
Yeah.
Because our flights got canceled and changed and changed and changed again. And So
I threw caution to the wind when on the return trip home. I wanted to see how that was my first trip, to Europe. So I wanted to see like how bad is jet. The next day I went to work. It just felt like a bad hangover. That was it.
There you go. All right. So let's talk a little bit about. There's one other person that asked if you were able to see the Glock factory at all.
We didn't go that. Well, I didn't go that deep into Austria. I don't know where it is in Austria, but we were literally we could have thrown a rock at the Czech Republic.
Yeah. So
I don't know what the Glock factory is, but we only ventured maybe 20-30 kilometers into Austria, mostly just for food.
Yeah.
To be honest, we didn't see a ton of the Czech Republic either. We kind of went Prague to Znojmo back to Prague, did a day trip into Germany, just barely into Germany and then back.
Yeah.
So
didn't get a day trip and stuff in Prague too. So
but it was just kind of in the Prague area.
Yeah.
I think from our apartments in Austria, we would have been an 8-hour drive. And that sounds like a long drive, but that's literally like maybe 300-400 kilometers.
Yeah. Well, and the Glock factory. I mean, you just have to look for the horses, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably why someone wanted to go or something, right?
Yeah.
For that person that was asking, you might be interested to know the Austrian border guards totally strapped with Glocks. Big surprise, hey?
Yeah, no, not really. No.
We the one night that we did go into Austria to get some schnitzel, there was a beer garden or a beer fest going on, and we just kind of drove by it and turned around to take a look, and it was like middle of nowhere, this country town in Austria, sponsored by Glock.
Yeah. So I want to change my my biggest disappointment. So the biggest disappointment is Ev and I didn't stumble into there.
Schnitzel and beer.
Mel was definitely playing mom that night.
Yeah,
we had to shoot the next day.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, mom.
We were in that tavern that like you could see the haze of smoke, right? And we already were a couple pints deep, and it was just like, yeah, we should probably go to bed.
Yeah,
best schnitzel I've ever had.
There's another question on here from Tracy. Tracy says, by the way, woo, Team Canada. And she was asking about if you had to rent, etc. And we did. I think she's trying to sell it because we did talk about that. Do you want to talk about the impact of the current legislation on the sport of IPSC, both handguns and also PCC? Because let's be real. So this is the first time that PCC has been at the Worlds, and Team Canada has been able to, Canada's been able to send a team, but it might be the last too. So let's talk about it a little bit. So
it is the last. As far as IPSC on the whole, so IPSC does include for like a number of different disciplines, but I'd say 95% is all handgun, and handgun is now on life support. Like we've said before, PCC was the only opportunity to get into the sport because typically PCC is shot with a handgun match. So as I said before, Tony was a great example of someone who was trying to get in after, the 2020 ban and after the handgun freeze, and now that's been cut off. So it's a grim reality, but yes, IPSC is on life support now until we get a change in legislation. From everything I've heard from our black badge instructors, they had regular students for the past couple years, but now it's starting to taper off. So the people who are in the sport right now, anyone who got a handgun and wasn't an IPSC shooter before can become one, but that pool is running dry. There's no new shooters coming in. Anyone who's heard about the sport in the last couple of years can't get into it. It's incredibly restrictive. So we're kind of just operating on who we have right now, what we have right now. And, as people retire out of the sport, it's going to shrink.
Yeah.
So
that's not just IPSC. That's
anything
that
anything
is affected by the bans.
Yeah, 3-gun, etc. Mini rifle is one option currently right now.
But those aren't entirely safe, right? As we saw from the last couple rounds of bans. Even some of those GSG 22s that would have been quite similar. I had one of those looked like a SCAR 17 or 16 kind of rifle. And even the most popular rifles in mini rifle are, no surprise, AR based, right?
Yep. Yeah. So, what can we do to help?
Vote.
Yeah.
Vote.
But I don't know when the next time that's going to happen is.
Same as always. Write your MPs, especially those people that are in a liberal riding, because I kind of think that you're just preaching the choir. Still do it. Contact your MPs, meet with them, but it's just that much more effective if they happen to be for the Liberal Party who's in charge right now. So.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them, they just don't know. Like, no one knows this exists. They don't understand the impact it has on the sport. They don't understand the scale of the sport. It's like, I always joke about, it's like the world's best kept secret.
I know, right?
That's another thing that could help us. Like and comment and share. Anyone that you see that posts anything from an IPSC match, especially these world-class events, get it out there. That's another good.
Share, be loud.
Keep your IPSC membership current too. The other thing is also, I think you do have to vote because, tell me if I'm correct. The Worlds for IPSC are going on a 4-year rotation, correct? And you never know what may happen in those 4 years. So tell us a little bit about that too.
Yeah, so with the addition of PCC as the newest discipline, there's now 4 main disciplines, and so they'll never have 2 world shoots in the same year. Again, that we're told from our regional director. So everything's going to be on a 4-year rotation, and just like, I hope no one gives up hope, because like, as you can see, we still all possess our stuff, and it's not over. As long as we still have it, it's kind of not over really. So we're just kind of in purgatory, and I hope it turns around. I'd love to shoot another Worlds with these guys.
They're amazing people, right?
Yeah.
All right.
I love this team.
Well, yeah.
So Little Bird told me, it was Taylor actually. So,
Big Bird.
That there is some talk about IPSC and it potentially going to the Olympics. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I don't know if there's been any progress on that, but I want to say it was 2023 that IPSC became a part of we got observer status for the Olympics. They joined MISIA, they joined the anti-doping program. So there was a lot of steps that had to be completed in order to be recognized by the IOC. And now we're, I believe, don't quote me on this, one step away from being an Olympic sport. I've heard that there had to be 75 member countries represented at your biggest championship, so the Worlds. And I think the last time that we had the World Shoot for handgun, there was maybe 2 or 3 countries shy of that threshold.
Okay.
And that was also right after COVID. So this year, after the South African World Championship, we may have enough countries participating to greenlight IPSC as an Olympic sport, which, I mean, I've always said we should not have to legitimize our sport. We shouldn't have to legitimize why we own what we own or do what we do. But that just takes one more thing away from a government that just wants to destroy us.
Yep.
And I think that could put us over the edge of, being allowed to do what we do again, and at least get everyone else out there who doesn't shoot IPSC a route back into firearms ownership.
Yeah. Well, that's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also exposure. Again, as Melly was saying, there's not a lot of people who know about it, or people, again, see us as Canadians, and we're not able to. When you go abroad, people are saying, "You mean you're allowed to own firearms? You're allowed to own handguns? You're allowed to own rifles?"
And it was very interesting. We had a lot of competitors from other countries that were coming up to us and asking about what's going on with Canada, how are they doing this to us, and
oh yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, there was a lot of international support for us, and
a lot of people had heard our situation and felt for us. Yeah,
and wanted to help out. So again, do you want to give a little bit of a shout out to Dave at Da Vinci?
Yeah,
Taught her Canadian.
Yeah. We couldn't have done it without Da Vinci, honestly.
Yeah. David was fantastic. Like, because we were staying in Austria and our permits were only for Czech, we would have to meet David every morning an hour before going to a match. And like the first shots were at 6:45 a.m. So we're literally leaving our apartments at 4 a.m., meeting David at 5, getting to the range at his hotel before he even had to go to the range. But thankfully he was willing to do that. And
that was actually the silver lining, Everett, because if we would have had our own guns with Czech only permits, who would have taken them for us?
Yeah, we would have been screwed.
We would have been looking for any place to stay in the Czech Republic.
Yeah. But instead you found this beautiful place in Austria because of Everett.
Oh, it was a phenomenal place.
It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Yeah.
We even made a friend.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
The innkeeper was a beauty, right? He'd
he made a cake for us on our last day with a Canadian, like a maple leaf on.
Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. One more question. I think we kind of did already, but Tracy's asking if we can divine mini rifle, and she has 22. So.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Mini rifles is just anything with a 22. Yeah. And so it's commonly shot with dedicated 22 semi-autos, almost always AR platform, but you can use anything. You could very successfully use a 1022 or one of the Darias or a conversion kit or those GSGs.
Yeah.
That probably will never be recognized in Canada for political reasons. Mostly because if we recognize that for a national championship per se, this is straight from our regional director. If we recognize that just gives more ammunition to our opponents to say, well, you don't need 9mm, you don't need 223, you don't need 12 gauge. Just shoot your sport with a 22, right?
Yeah.
It is a lot of fun, and Canada would probably be pretty competitive considering
very competitive, yeah.
Right?
So,
but yeah, that's kind of the situation, and I think it was Germany that pushed for that originally, and then they started to get, under their political situation changed for that reason. That their government said, well, why don't you just give up your full power centerfires?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
A good way to think of mini rifle is it's just IPSC rifle with a 22 with small bore caliber rifles, essentially. So, but a lot of these countries that were unable to own any kind of semi-automatic centerfire rifles. Like the UK just excels at it, right? They love it. They can still have mild to wild, all kinds of 22s, as far as I know. So it really worked out great for them. They're able to compete at the international level.
All right. Well, I want to go to Adriel and Tony. Does anybody have any other questions before we get them to give us their contact information and socials and all that? Tony does.
Did you get forced to shoot a right-handed rifle? Or were you able to shoot a left-handed?
Da Vinci is one of the few manufacturers that makes. Sorry, we lagged there for a second.
Yeah, go for it.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Is he having trouble? I want to say yes and no. Because he when he got there.
Okay, I think we're back.
Yeah.
I think we're back.
Go ahead.
All right, cool.
Oh, maybe we're not.
Maybe not.
The audio is good, so I'm just going to start talking.
Yeah,
Da Vinci is one of the few manufacturers that actually makes a left-handed rifle. So I was able to use a left-handed lower, and we had to swap out the upper for a right-handed one. When like the the ammunition issues we were talking about, Da Vinci actually came and swapped out our uppers so that we could confirm that wasn't the issue.
Right. So you had a left eject.
End up using a right-handed upper, but I had a left-handed.
Oh, you were fortunate. You had left eject gun.
It's still a right-handed eject.
Oh, they're froze again. But yeah. So initially, when he started, the first gun that he got was left-handed lower and upper, so it was left eject. But he then,
but in the end, he had to go with a left-handed
right eject, but with a
left-handed release.
Yeah,
got it.
So it was an interesting situation.
Yeah. Oh, they're back. There you go.
I finished it for you guys.
Yeah. We figured it out.
I had a question on the stages. Like, all you guys pretty much run matches and everything. How prepared did you guys feel you were for the stages? Like, was there anything that totally threw you for a loop, or?
So as a guy that puts on matches, I thought I'd be going and seeing the stages at the World Shoot and being overwhelmed or just kind of like, these are going to be crazy because this is a world championship. It was impressive to see that it was really, there's no, like, our nationals holds up stage quality wise to these stages. Like, there wasn't, other than a good portion of the targets being 50 to 80. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing you would see different to a handgun match here. So
awesome.
Yeah. They were challenging, but not overwhelming.
There was nothing that was just like, oh my God, like not a bunch of spinning stuff. But that's the point of IPSC, right? It's right in the rules. They try to have more practical target arrays. It's not like 3-gun where we have like the peacock targets or the Texas stars or anything, right? It's
or the Bevy special.
Oh, I don't even know if I remember that one.
Yeah, but you guys, like Taylor had gone through the rule books. You guys were prepared for the distance, at least.
Yeah.
You know what? It wasn't really the stages. It's who you're shooting against. Like when I pull up to a stage, I'm like, I have practiced this distance, but you shoot it and then you realize that the top shooters are shooting that like a 45-meter target 25% faster than you.
Yeah.
Like that's even the simplest stages. IPSC's known for having relatively simple stages because you got to get 1,000 people through in 5 days. Even if it's something really simple, same stage plan for everyone, you still got to execute, and the top guys are executing just faster. Yeah. They're just more accurate and faster. So you don't even need a complicated stage to differentiate from people. So that was really the only difference I saw. I walked up to every stage feeling like it was a weekend match here in Alberta.
Yeah.
But then you realize that the whole pool is stacked against you, and you feel the pressure to go a little faster, right?
Yep.
But you brought up something else. Like, you were shooting over 5 days. Like, how is the marathon for like? Because I know how I feel after a weekend. So.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of shooting a level 2 match every day for 5 days, and they run a very tight ship there. So we were only shooting for about three and a half hours per day.
Oh.
So as long as you pace yourself, as long as you don't get carried away and party every night, and we got adequate sleep. Apart from Mel, we got adequate sleep every night, and you're on a good routine. You just go, you do your 3.5 hours of shooting, and then you see where you stand and you adjust if you can for the next day. So that was, I actually felt like I performed pretty well in that aspect, that I approached it just like I would any other match. I didn't feel overwhelmed like that it was Worlds, but you do know at the back of your mind, everyone else is shooting this faster than I do. Get on your horse.
Yeah, they were easy days, which was nice, and I think it's good because it tests more of your shooting ability. Everyone's on the same playing field, whereas you go to a USPSA match down south, and the last one that I shot down there, it was 11 stages, and all of them were like 25 to 32 rounders, and you were on the range from 8 in the morning till 4, and you were just beat.
Yeah, that's a long day.
But we did learn pretty quickly as well. The range officers and the staff, they moved really quickly after each competitor's shots for scoring, and it caught us a few times where we should have been
delegating
more.
For your buddy to walk and confirm targets.
Yeah, there was a few
Did
times.
Did you guys get bid on that?
Yep.
Yeah. So we learned pretty quickly, like, as soon as we're done shooting, get our gear back, get back up on the stage and support our teammates, even our other squad mates. Like, we were helping each other, making sure all the calls were there correctly. Yeah. Even reshoots, like, hey, like, no, this isn't correct. Like, we were staying on top of each other, supporting each other all the way through. Yeah. So there was a lot of support there for each of us.
Someone got questioned for checking a Croatian guy's target, right?
Because I dropped my gun down and Krešimir was shooting next. We shot with the Croatian team, and I stepped forward through the gates, and the RO was like, "What are you doing here? You need to get back." I said, "No, I'm his delegate to check targets." And they said, "For the opposite team?" I'm like, "Yes, we're helping each other out. We're on the same squad."
That was shooting community, right?
Yeah, I wasn't used to that mental part of it, where you have to be watching the ROs like a hawk, because it's not like self-resetting. It's not a work shoot schedule. It is the 4 ROs on that stage are taping and scoring everything. So if they mess up, it's up to you to determine that they messed up, or else you just wouldn't even know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They call a mic and they'd be like, "Well, you didn't have a delegate here. You don't get a reshoot. You didn't get to see it. Well, you should have had a delegate here."
Yeah. 50-yard swinger stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another note, especially on the long range stages, is they wouldn't let us to go down to confirm those targets, any squad mates or anything. So they would, if they called a mic and you wanted to question it, they would actually pull the target and bring it up range for you to confirm it, and then paste another target to keep the flow going.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was really different.
Yeah. But if you got 2 delta, like if there was 4 targets out there and it was 2 delta, 2 delta, 2 delta, 2 delta, they wouldn't let you see it. And I asked a few ROs, they wouldn't even tell you where your hits were. They wouldn't tell you if they were low, right, left. They would not say anything.
Hopefully that's something they adjust for. This was the first PCC World shoot, so I'm hoping that's something that maybe they can adjust, because it would be nice to go down, confirm, see, even if it was through a video monitor or something.
Yeah.
Well, with that, you think did they pull like their procedures and that from the rifle shoot, or did they basically try and create this new?
I don't know.
I want to say it's probably more akin to the the handgun side, and then just a little bit further distance.
Yeah.
Because like I think rifle, don't they have stuff like bipods and all kinds of stuff.
Oh yeah, I was just thinking like they're like you're talking with they wouldn't let you down 80 yards down range, and if they wouldn't let you see the targets. And I was just wondering if that's something similar in the rifle shoot, where that's where they kind of pulled that procedure from, or
not sure. It could have been. Taylor was saying that there's some sort of electronic targets that they just approved that maybe we'll see more often, right? Where the bullet passes through and kind of senses which scoring zone that it would have hit.
Yeah, that might be helpful, right?
Yeah, especially just for the long range, right?
Yeah, I can see why they're trying to be economical with or efficient, right?
Yeah.
So if everybody's asking to see their targets, and yeah. Some of you are sponsored shooters. Did you want to talk about your sponsors? Because without them, you wouldn't be able to shoot. So, Mel, I'm talking about you.
Yeah, well, we definitely big shout out to all of our sponsors, really, for supporting Sterling, for providing us with PCCs that we could train with. Apex for providing us with the dots and spare ones. FH for providing the ammunition that we use to practice. And
we should have brought that ammo.
Yeah. Double Tap came in huge, like weeks before we left, because I somehow managed to crack all of my mag pouches on my current PCC belt. So within like the next day, they had sent me new pouches and a belt that I could train with and then take to Worlds. So that was really awesome of them. And yeah, tape, tape, because we shoot white targets. We don't really have white tape. We have endless brown patches, but so they sent us thousands of patches of white tape that we could use for practice.
We got a lot of support from like Van and Carly of Apex. I was getting constant texts. What do you need? How can we help you? You're going to check right now. Like, what can we do to help you? So they always had us at the back of their minds, and that was really special. As you know, it made me feel like we had the whole country behind us, just having people text us. And it was the same with FH and James and Mav from Double Tap, and JR from Sterling. Like everyone was just, it felt like we had a whole team on our backs behind us, pushing us to the world shoot. That's what it felt like.
Yeah. What about you and Wes and Everett? Who would you like to give a shout out to?
Well, just kind of my close friends and family, like my local club here. They really helps support me, giving me more training time, and I use the targets. I use the we have ample white pasters, but I was just flipping the targets around, and I burned through a lot of white pasters, just to get used to. It doesn't make as much of a difference as you think. At least I didn't find it. You shoot those ones and you don't shoot those ones. So,
yeah.
You didn't buy the special paint.
I didn't buy the special yellow paint. But then my other, I would like to thank my spouse, Erica, because she was right beside me, supporting me all along. So it's nice to have a good partner that's supportive of your endeavors.
Yeah. What about you, Everett?
For me, it's definitely my friends and family. Like I said, I am in electrical business with my family, letting them run away every weekend for matches or training, and especially taking off a full month to go to the Czech. It adds a lot more on to their backs and the company. So I'm very grateful for them to pick up the slack while I'm gone. And then my friends motivated me to get out training and keep on top of everything while I'm frustrated and whatnot. You have a bad day, you lean on your friends, and they pick you right back up and kick you out the door until you get back at it.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. Just like your friends that are sitting here on the
oh, they
episode.
harassed me the whole trip.
Well, how could you not? You booked the accommodations in the wrong country.
He was just giving you an opportunity to see another country. Let's be real.
It's like Dumb and Dumber, hey?
Um,
Awesome.
So what's next for you guys? I know that there's a couple of competitions that you recently signed up for, meaning last night, and I know that Mel and Taylor are going to the Worlds as well. So, but what's next for you after this?
So for most of us, we have Alberta provincials coming up. So that's another ramp up for Taylor and Mel. Me, I'm slowing down, taking a breather. It's been a long 3 years getting ready for the PCC Worlds. On top of that, I am volunteering for the Canadian Nationals here in Alberta as well. And then also I am co-match directing in the 32 special 2 weeks before the Nationals. So
You're not really ramping down.
You're not slowing down.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah. What about you, Wes? What do you got going on?
What do I got going on? So this weekend I'm going to have a little level 1, local level 1. I need to get shooting a handgun again. Later this month, we have our monthly match, our regular scheduled monthly match. At the end of the month, I have I'm going to North Dakota for the North Dakota State Championships. I'm really close with some guys down in Minot, North Dakota, and they just put on a great match. And then in July is the Saskatchewan Provincial Championship, which I'm MD along with my friend Adnan Parwez. We are putting on a 2-day level 3 match in July, and then I'll be in Alberta with these guys for the Handgun Nationals. And then I will be representing Team Canada for Classic Division in South Africa.
There you go.
I believe in September. So it's also a busy year for me. And
sounds like it.
Yeah.
So it never stops, but it's by design because most of us just love it. So
cool.
There you go. And Mel, Taylor, what do you got on next for you?
I think mostly just weekend, like regular matches, but the next big one will be the provincials near the end of the month, or not even, in a couple weeks.
It's like 3 weeks away.
Yeah, and then next month the nationals, and then after that the worlds, where the handgun world shoot in South Africa. So we're just ramping right up.
Yeah. The way her schedule works, she doesn't get to shoot as many matches as I do. She works weekends sometimes. So I think I have 3 weekends off between now and our departure for South Africa.
Yeah.
I'm not a match director for nationals, but I am designing half the stages for the national championship. So everyone coming from across Canada, you get to experience my wrath. And so do I. So that's happening in Tabor at the end of July. So we kind of get a nice, 1, 2, 3 of provincials, nationals, worlds. So everything is away for PCC. That's kind of out of our minds now, and the handguns come back out.
Yeah.
So we already shot a level 2 just this last weekend in Canmore. So it's just more of that for the next couple months.
Awesome. Sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So before we close out with the interview itself, Everett, what is your handles on social media?
Mine handle on Instagram is everett.polito, and same as on Facebook. Don't follow me on TikTok, please.
Roger that. Wes? Oh, you're muted.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm at Whiskey Juliet Sierra with dots as the spaces on Instagram. And then YouTube, I'm trying to compile, I am compiling all our stages by day and posting them on YouTube. And I'm at Ol Wessie on YouTube. So go check it out if you want to see a solid, mid-packer, but gives you a good idea what the stages look like.
It's going to be awesome. Melody, what's your Instagram and other social media?
Instagram, you can find me at 9melly. 3 M's. I don't really use Facebook much. I don't have TikTok, and my YouTube's pretty outdated. So Instagram is really the best platform.
Place to get you. Yeah.
See some vids, yeah.
All right. And Taylor.
Yeah, Instagram is the home of shooting. So I am v.albertan on Instagram. I do have a YouTube channel as well that I'm posting kind of full match videos on. I'll be posting the opening ceremonies from Worlds and then all of the stages. And that's just Taylor Reich. Very simple.
Awesome. And I really do think that our MPs, as well as maybe even our Prime Minister, should really watch those videos that you're going to be posting, especially the ones where, Team Canada is on the, marches in and everybody is surrounding it and the feeling and everybody is cheering and not, because it may have an impact.
It's an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
That was a really special moment.
Yeah. So, all right. Thanks for coming on tonight. Really excited to see you guys. Good luck, in your competitions going forward at the Worlds that are going forward. Wes, Mel, and Taylor and Everett. I'm sure.
Yeah, it was awesome seeing all of you again.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Kyle and Tony and Adriel in a while, so good to see your faces.
Absolutely. Good talking to you guys.
Thanks for having us on.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Right, thanks for having us.
Thanks for representing Canada, man.
Thank you, Wes, Everett, Taylor, and Mel for coming on to our show. I've shot with all of them before, so great bunch of people. And unfortunately, the days of me shooting on the Super Squad at BTSA with PCC is gone. Maybe in the next 4 years, we'll see about that. I'll see about that.
You never know. Keep the hope.
You never know. Let's go to listener feedback. It looks like we do have an email.
Yeah.
Kyle, would you? Oh, we have 2. Okay, yeah. Kyle, do you mind reading the first one, please?
Sure. Just wanted to say I love your guys' podcast. I drive logging truck and spend a lot of time in the bush, so it was nice to find your podcast to help pass the day. I'm 52. When I was younger, I used to plink with a 22, and just recently I got my PAL. I own a TM22 as well as a 12-gauge Canuck pump shotgun and an SKS. I live on Vancouver Island, but will be moving to Alberta, Fort McMurray, next month. I'm hoping to get into competition shooting out there. I would like to get into precision 22 shooting or competition with 12 gauge of some kind. Since I only have my PAL and not my restricted PAL, so I'm unable to get a handgun, so that leaves 3-gun out for me. So for someone that is green as grass, like myself, what do I need to get to start competing in shotgun or 22 precision shooting? What should I be looking at for cost? The local sporting store here does have a Ruger 22 with a bunch of upgrades for precision shooting, but no scope for $8.99. I have no idea if that is good or not. I asked him what kind of scope I would need, but he wasn't really able to help with that. My budget is about $2,500. Is that okay, or should I be looking at putting more into it? And thank you for your time.
I'm just going to add a few things from what I learned from my time in BTSA. I think that's a pretty good budget. Precision rimfire, you're looking at ORPS, CRPS, things of those nature. NRL 22 as well.
I'd look at what Fort Mac has for shooting sports.
That's true. They have an awesome range.
Yep, they have a great range. That 12 gauge Canuck, as long as it's got a decent length barrel, you'll be fine for any clay sports.
Yep.
Choke might be a concern. Not everyone would have choke for pump guns. But yeah, see what, check out the Fort Mac range, see what they have to offer. And you can go watch is this going to be soon enough for you?
Check out their event calendar. Check
Okay.
out their event calendar to see what they've got for events. And yeah, you might end up doing more events in the Edmonton area. I know Fort Mac does some stuff.
Well, they even have
they got 3-gun out there and that kind of thing as well.
Yeah, they do.
Not sure how often.
Yeah, they even have a 1,000-yard range. So,
Oh, that's cool.
yeah.
So yes, quite a bit of option. I believe Fort Mac range even have running water and stuff. I never visited.
Rocky now has they're getting a mile-long range.
Ooh,
They're
nice.
building a new one. Yeah, they're gonna have the longest range in Alberta, longer than Edson.
Woot.
Wow.
So that's got to be over mile then.
Yeah, but check out the events first. See if it was something you like. If you email the match director, I bet someone is gonna be willing to loan you some gear just to start. And
I
you
would
can
say don't
ask
rely on the
around.
website though. Try and find
That's true.
it wherever you can. Find the information because a lot of ranges are not good at updating their website and whatnot. So check Facebook. Just check everywhere regarding that range. And
If you don't have a practice score account yet, go sign up for that. See if you have events going on in your surrounding areas. That'll be great as well, I think. So yeah, generally speaking, from my perspective, don't rush the purchase. Buy the right stuff, not the cheap stuff, or just rush purchasing it. I don't think that's the best way to spend
be
your money.
prepared that when you do actually make it to Fort Mac, and you are ready to go buy something, you're gonna have to go to Edmonton. There's not really a store in Fort Mac that deals with that. So,
That's true. Well, you could always
Mail
buy
order.
online.
yeah, you can buy online. Yeah.
Adriel, do you mind reading the second email, please?
Hello, this is in response to the comment at the end of the last show about why we are still competing or why we might not be. I am not, and the answer is COVID. Just before COVID, I met a wonderful woman, got married, and started on our family. I was gone for a year. When I wanted to come back, the vaccine passports just didn't come into play. I wasn't allowed to come back, and if the IPSC folk had said it was just to avoid fines, it might have made it more livable. People were buying the whole most dangerous virus thing. They even wanted to have guards. Being a competition and a range, they would likely have to be armed to make sure no dirty, unvaccinated, evil scum dared to even try to watch. People who just before COVID called me brother and trusted me behind them with a gun were now attacking me, wouldn't trust me to be anywhere near them. Part of the competition environment for me was the community, and I felt like I belonged. After that, I don't think I can feel like I was part of that community, and my return would feel like a full day of work with a few minutes of shooting time. I should add that this was a time when I also had to worry about employment and being treated like a second-hand citizen. Community thought I would have been awesome for support. From Colin. I know some
I'm curious
people,
where he's at because I didn't realize it had gotten that bad.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything like that out here either. But
it's
I know a lot of sports were trying to do whatever it took to keep going.
Yeah.
And there were, and some of them were, you gotta have vaccine. Well, I don't know. I don't think any. I don't know of any shooting sports that had like a check on a passport or anything like that.
No, and
a vaccine, like a proof of vaccination. I don't think any of them did. None of the ones around here did.
Yeah, none that I knew of. There was some that some clubs that shut down of their own accord because of what was going on, but nobody that I know of required a vaccine passport. But Colin, not sure where you were at and what was taking place were in your area. So sorry you felt that way. The community is one where it is super supportive.
Mm-hmm.
And
and it's too bad that he found a community that and it goes against that. He found that one little corner or something.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah.
Yeah, really odd.
Love to see you back. No. Okay.
All right, let's go to YouTube comments. Uncivilized Public Servant 76 says, I love turkey hunts. Will be cool. Pretty limited in Alberta, though, unfortunately. And then Eddie, quite the overachiever here. Kyle, looks like Adriel made the correct choice. Stanley Cup Final Game 1. Results are Oilers 4, Panthers 3. Canada flag.
And where are they sitting now?
I think 2-1. Unfortunately, don't make Albertans give up hope. Okay.
No, I have all the hope in the world. Absolutely.
All the hope in the world. Tony, like you, I found Norma Tech 22 to be good 22 LR ammo, but for a better price, CCR standard velocity is the way to go. And 822, I tested with CCR standard velocity, consistently grouped 5 shots into 3/4 of an inch or less at 50 yards. I don't think I have that kind of accuracy. Tender regularly has a cell on it by the case. If you're looking for turkeys in BC, you can find them driving around everywhere in the lower mainland. Really. But if
he's got a laughy face.
Wow. Is there like a...
I think he's being facetious.
Yeah, there's some kind of a intonation for what turkey is. Okay. But if you want the type you can put a tag on, there you go. I've heard from hunters who were successful in bagging some that they're southeast corner of BC near Cranbrook. Interesting. Okay. Out here on the wet coast, there are many trees in hunting areas. It's why we call it bush hunting. I don't like shooting through branches either. A few years back, I had a black bear lined up, but it took a couple of steps to the right before shooting to avoid a couple of branches in the way. That's probably referring to the meteor test of like bush guns and stuff. I would think the Stanel 4570 government 777 grain bullets is high-tech coated to aid it going down the barrel, considering it is a bearing surface of over an inch long. A 700 grain version was featured on Banana Ballistics a couple of weeks ago, along with a 50 Beowulf. 700 grain 50 Beowulf? Ooh. Ouch. Along the same lines, Banana had another video showcasing the world's most painful 12-gauge shotgun. It was a soft lead 2.5 ounce, almost 1,100 grain projectile that produced over 77 foot-pounds of recoil.
7,700?
So he said 77.
He said 77 foot-pounds of recoil.
Pounds.
Oh, yeah. Recoil. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
That's a good punch.
Yeah.
2.5 ounce though. Whoa, that's a lot. Generally, you see 1 ounce, maybe 1
ounce and a quarter.
Yeah. We have Lawrence who left us the email in comment form as well. And the last comment from Eddie: as for staying motivated, I feel like there should be more of a social aspect to matches or events. Many times in the past, when I started out with competition, didn't shoot as well. I really enjoy hanging out with the veterans. We enjoy lunch and supper at a restaurant or barbecue at a range clubhouse. These days, sadly, I noticed many competitors are too serious and just leave as soon as the event is over. I think that really depends on the crowd you're hanging out with.
Yeah, right.
So I guess, unfortunately, with the shrinking of the sport, maybe that's kind of a byproduct of that.
Yeah, it depends on the area, too. Yeah, I noticed you go to certain areas. Yeah, everyone just match is done. They disappear. They get on, do stuff with for the rest of the day. Especially matches that are over at like 1 o'clock. But then, yeah, I remember the matches where everyone hung out. You'd just be hanging out. And I probably head home now.
Shout outs and recommendations. Go with Adriel first.
I don't know. Shout out to Rocky for having me out. Shout out to my kid for helping me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Kelly?
I'm just going to give a shout out to Mel, Taylor, Wes, and Everett, and Justin as well. Justin didn't join us tonight, but for representing Canada so well and for coming on the show tonight.
Kyle?
So shout out for Gage helping me with the construction on the weekend, and I'm gonna shout out everybody on that Team Canada PCC team as well for rolling with the punches, and even before you had an answer, still pushing to that, no, you're going one way or another. So it wasn't far from the ideal situation, but they rolled with it. And I think with everything, had a respectable showing and had a good attitude about it.
And I'll give a shout out to Taylor. Of course, he introduced me into the IPSC sports and really guided me as a mentor into the PCC sports. Unfortunately, destroyed by OIC2. So
led you like a lamb to the slaughter. I got this cool sport over here.
Maybe I should think about it that way, because I did waste a lot of money in that perspective. Yeah, but it's unfortunate, right? Taylor was asking if I'm going to go hang out tomorrow at our regular Thursday night IPSC match, but I don't have anything to show up with right now.
Yeah.
And I'll give a shout out to the whole PCC Canada team. I've shot with everyone there, and it's the people that kept me in the sports. Everyone's very friendly. I've shot with Everett, shot with Mel, of course, shot with Taylor, shot with Wes. It's great bunch of people, and highly recommend it to squad with them if you get the opportunity to. And lastly, I'll give a shout out to all the rangers that had hosted National Range Day. And it's funny because I think I heard about the Thunder Bay Combat Club on this show back in the long ago, and I have a friend in Thunder Bay, so he went and checked that out. They mentioned they had a 6.5 rifle. I did not expect it to be a Tikka T3 and 6.5 55 Swede. So it's really funny. But yeah, he got to have some fun, despite already being a PAL owner, but PAL holder, he doesn't have a gun yet. But yeah, thanks to all the clubs that are still continuing to spread our sport despite the adversity, let's say.
Yeah. Good job.
Join our Discord server. Watch us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Player. Join the CCFR. We'll give a special thanks to our supporters on Patreon and Player. If you would like to email the show, please send them to slamfireradio@gmail.com. And we'll see you next week.
Next week.
Bye, y'all.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.